Patch, come here. You want to say hi to Patch, don't you? Come here, Patch. Come on, baby. Come on. Good girl. Good girl. Okay. You don't want to come on? Come on. Come sit in my lap. She goes, why are you in this room? You don't usually sit in here. That's true. I don't usually sit in here. I should, but I don't. Oh gosh. Okay, everybody. Well, I just wanted to film a little update. I'm Kaye here on my homestead in Tennessee. Middle Tennessee, hot and humid. Feels like 92 today. Well, it's going to be 92. I don't know what it's going to feel like, but it already feels like a steam bath out there, so I'm in. And I thought I would just take a few minutes to bring you up to date on the video I made a few weeks ago, a couple months ago, about that mysterious thing that happened to me on the highway. And to recap, if you haven't seen that, it did get quite a few views, but it was called What Happened Last Saturday. And briefly, I was driving home at night. I don't usually drive at night, but I was driving at night. It was not far from home, and it was a dark country road. No major EMF towers that I saw. But anyway, I was not sleepy and I was not stressed. And all of a sudden, I sort of lost consciousness. And I believe God took the wheel because I could have gone off the road. And this particular highway has lots of turns and dips and gullies, and so I just gripped the steering wheel and kind of just, it came in two waves. One wave was just like, oh my gosh, it's seconds, you know, it happens so fast, and it was just like, I just did that. I didn't even have time to call out or anything. It just hit me, and I felt like I was fighting something. And it's not like, believe me, I have been driving many of times when I shouldn't have been when I was sleepy. It was nothing like that. It was like I was fine, and then somebody was stealing my brain. And so it came in two waves, and I shook it off, and I just said, okay, get yourself home. That was my first thought. And then I thought, no, I better go and check this out, because what if? And so I went to the ER and spent 5 hours there, and they, took it towards cardio because that's what they know, and all that was good. So that's what happened. And then since then, I just don't know what could have caused that. There was a lot of talk in the news about the pole shift and the geomagnetic, all this stuff. And I mean, I'm not even well versed enough to even repeat it, but something outside, it felt like something outside of me was doing that. But I wanted to find out if it was anything physical that I could find out about myself. So I went after the ER, I followed up 2 days later with the person who actually covers, well, she's the nurse practitioner that covers for the doctor that actually saw me in the ER. And we talked about a lot of things. And so I went ahead and had, in addition to the, heart stuff in the ER, I had a CAT scan of my head and neck to study blood flow, because she said, you know, it sounds like it might have been you just passing out, which could happen if there's a reduction in blood flow. And so that made sense, and I did that, and that was fine. And no tumors, no brain tumors. And so all those boxes have been checked off. And then, let's see, in addition, I had blood work again. I did find out that, like so many other people in this country, well, around the world, I guess, but especially in this country, are, I don't know if she called me pre-diabetic or if I was predisposed. But anyway, my numbers for pre-diabetes was higher. And so to watch the sugar is all they said. And so I watch it all right. I watch it going down. No, it's like, I try not to have sweets, but if I make boiled custard, all bets are off, okay? Which I made recently. So then the other thing we talked about was a sleep study. Now, my adopted son came with a lot of health issues, and at one point, when he was almost 9, we had a sleep study done. And so I knew, without going into that, I knew what that entailed because I stayed with him when he did that. And so I said, okay, you know, and she led me to believe, I mean, I'm sure she said this, that I would have an EEG. Now, I just wanted to talk briefly about the comments, because I got so many comments on that video, and I looked at all of them till a couple of weeks ago. I kind of, you know, I have so many other videos that I haven't gotten back there and seen what else people had to say. But I would say 50% of the comments probably were having to do with panic attack, anxiety, and all of that. They just assumed that because I was driving at night, and I don't usually drive at night, that I got anxious and I had a panic attack. Well, I appreciate that, and that makes a lot of sense. And I tried to tell people this in many of the comments, but I've been there, done that, you know. And there was a period in my life where I actually experienced those for real. And so I've been down that path, and I've come out the other side. And so I actually came out the other side after a couple of years of dealing with that. I was skiing in my favorite ski area with my family, and I had an opportunity to go down. There was a big run, and the majority of it was intermediate, and there's one little path on the right that they don't groom that is considered expert, and I knew it would be moguls and everything. And so when fear starts running your life, you know, you stop doing things that you normally do. You know, I mean, I got up, I was an actor, and I would go and see other people in plays, and I would go and see good plays. That didn't sound right. I would go and see my friends in plays, and I would go to the theater downtown and see the big professional productions, and there were at least 3 different plays that I walked out on because I started feeling panicky. Like something's going to happen to me, and I don't want it to happen to me in front of all these people. That was always the thing. Well, this had nothing to do with what happened to me driving that night. But anyway, I was skiing that day, and I got to that point you have to make a decision. And I said, I said it, I don't know if I said it out loud, but I said it to myself. I am not going to let fear run my life. And so I went down the right side, and it wasn't pretty. Very often wasn't when I went through moguls, but I made it. I didn't fall. And I just felt like I had passed some kind of threshold there with that. And so, and there's much more to talk about all that, but there's no point right now. I just wanted to say that though I appreciate all those comments, I know the difference, and this was different, much different. In fact, I don't think I would have been able to gather my presence of mind after this happened and get myself and check myself into the ER. I don't think so. Who knows? Can't relive it, don't want to relive it. But then I went ahead and had a sleep study, and I actually still have not gotten the results of that. That's been at least 2 weeks ago, maybe longer, 3. She said it'll take a couple of weeks, and I go, why? It's all digital. You can see right there, it's all printed out. You know, it seems to me like they could have looked at it the next day and let me know, just like they do with blood tests or whatever. But anyway, I haven't heard the results from that. But I have a feeling I'm not going to learn anything because I didn't have a good night's sleep. It's not a typical night's sleep when you go check in someplace else and they put, I think there were 14 wires hooked up, you know, there's 4 here and 2 back here and 8 on your head and on your legs, and I don't remember how many exactly. But, you know, turning over and everything, and then just knowing that someone's watching you in the dark. So I didn't get much sleep. I woke up at 3 and I called her name and I said I probably should go to the restroom, and she said, well, you can just go now if you want. And I said, well, I am not driving out of this place in Cookeville at 3 in the morning, so I'll stick around till dawn, till daylight, till dawn breaks. And so that's what I did. And so I don't know what that's going to tell me. And the doctor had told me that it was going to be an EEG, and some of the people in the comments had said you need an EEG. And I'm going, oh great, I'm going to get an EEG and a sleep during the sleep study and get that all taken care of. And when I got there, she goes, well, you know, you're not signed up for an EEG. And I said, well, that's what she told me. Well, we can reschedule it if you want. No, I'm here. No, let's do it. I got all my pillows and, you know, no, let's get it done. So there were electrodes on my brain. I guess they're just additional electrodes on your head that go deeper or something into studying what's going on with your brain activity. Hopefully I'll find out something, and hopefully it will be good news. So that's really all I can tell you. I don't know what happened that night, and I hope it never happens again. It took me a couple of weeks to even want to drive to town, but I got over that, and I went and picked up some things from Facebook Marketplace. 3 different, and 2 wound up to be from different sellers. 2 wound up to be exactly the same cast iron bench. So I guess these things were mass produced or something, but there's 2 that match, and I thought, hey, 2 matching garden benches would look lovely. So I went in, you know, different places and picked those up, and then I got one more and went all the way up to, it's different, but now I've seen another one that looks just like it on Facebook Marketplace. Anyways, they have to be old. They're very heavy. And so that one is particularly old. And so I went all the way up to, well, it was in Kentucky. What's the name of that town? Well, it's an hour and a half away. And so that was a 3-hour. And then on the way back, I stopped in Mount Juliet and picked up those iron gates, still which we have not put up. And so I felt like, you know, I felt like I had really gotten on the road and done some driving. And so I decided, I was invited on a certain weekend, and I went to Asheville and saw my granddaughter again. I've seen her 3 times now, and she's lovely, and it was wonderful. So, and son and daughter-in-law, obviously, and they've gotten their patio. That's how I got inspired about the stone out here. They got their patio redone, and now, you know, I would love that too, but I don't know, the cost may may kill the project. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I just wanted to bring you up to date with that. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your prayers. A lot of people were praying for me. I really appreciate that. I appreciate all of your support of my channel, for sharing it. If you can't afford to support it financially, then please share it, like the videos, watch my old videos. I only have about 1,500 videos on all kinds of things. So I hope you find something that you like on my channel. Thanks so much for being here. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video.